game. This that CSZ game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55, what's goody? Kill the vibe, how could it? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. The mother shows spread fake news. We just call them broadcast. West, Joey, Sam, Sean, Dalton, and you know that boy Higgy. He said he don't want no small fries. Tell them they better make them biggie. Yeah, you already know what we be on. We got the crown, we hold the throne. We throw the mails and you take them home. When they ring the bells, you know that it's home. The bar set, we setting the tone. If we set it, then set it in stone. Sit in the seat, set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm just going to let y'all know Higgy's manning the chat line tonight, so everything's probably going to be slow as far as that's concerned. But we are back, finally back, coming to you live from the Fitness Market Studios North. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast. I'm here tonight with my co-host, Dalton Pence.
Not used to being the first one you mentioned.
I know. Well, that's because nobody else knows how to show up on time. Shade thrown. And because nobody else showed up on time,
it's overcast. The sun's not even out. There's no need for shade.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's the notorious Higgy. What's going on, Higgles?
Nothing much, everybody.
All right. Well, I'm putting him backstage. Just kidding. All right. Higgy's will be manning the chat line. I'll get to y'all in a second. The chat line is open. Let's see. Joey, co-host Joey's in the house. Joey is here in spirit. I'll give that to him. Man, just a lot of stuff to catch y'all up on. This is going to be a big show. It's the Supersized summer finale of the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast. Not a whole lot going on the next few weeks, but I'm going to head out. I'm going to head out on vacation and try to clear my mind and stuff and get things going. Real quick, you can donate to the site at the following tags below: Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Follow our social medias. It's to the right of that at the very bottom of the screen. We appreciate you all. Really quickly before we hop into it, because our first guest is on time. He's waiting in the queue. Can't wait to get him on here, but I do want to send out my heartfelt thank you, me and my brother both, and say we were so overwhelmed by the outpouring of support and love. I mean, people, if I got one DM, I got 1,000 DMs that was started off with, "I know I don't know you, but my heart breaks for you." And I had to let a couple weeks go by. It's been exactly 2 weeks since Dad passed, and I needed to be able to be in a mental state or a mood, I guess, to be able to do this without choking. And I know it's okay to be upset and choke up and stuff, but for me, I've heard so many times how positive, how much of an inspiration, things like that. I don't really want to get anybody's moods down, but here's what I will say. My dad was a fighter. He fought cancer 3 times. Unfortunately, with cancer, you can win 3 games. You can be up 3-0 in the series and lose the series just like that. Dad loved Louisville. He loved the show. He couldn't stand Higgy, so that made me love him even more. I'm joking, buddy. His eulogy was perfect. He never met a stranger. I guess that's where I get it from. We could be out on vacation, hundreds. Yeah, we could be 1,000 miles away. And we were in some random city in South Dakota, and 1880s town was close to it. And that's not giving y'all much info on the city name, but he went into the store, and not only did I have to go in after him because he was in there for 30 minutes talking to all the people that worked there, but he actually ran into somebody that knew one of our cousins. It's like he was a bright light. He made everybody happy. There wasn't anybody that met him that walked away and was like, man, that dude's a douche. He just was loved by everybody. And for me, I will be honest, I feel a little guilty because the sorrow is not there 24/7 like I thought it was, but I believe that's because with the technology we have today, we can watch videos and look at pictures and remember the good times and listen to voicemails. I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks. And yes, there's an element of relief that I'm not up at the hospital 5 days a week anymore. But with that being said, he knows stupid. He knows how much that we love him. He knows how much y'all love him. And dang it, I thought I was good. All right. Good. And he like anytime you can get UK fans to do the ceremonies of a Louisville fan and make them say how much he loves Louisville, that's a win in my book. Got my cousins got one of my cousins to preach the funeral. The other, it was his funeral home, and he had to say nice things about Louisville the whole time. So that really aided him. But all jokes aside, I hate this. We love you. We won't forget you. And I'm sorry I'm being a wuss on the radio. So let's get started. I'm going to have them hop in here real quick. Man, our first guest is I mean, we shouldn't even have any other guests after him. He is one of the most electrifying players in Louisville football history. He was the first player in NCAA history with 300 career catches. And the all-time leaders, he is the all-time leader in Louisville touchdowns being called back because of a penalty, and also the leader of negative yards just to get positive yards. From the Ville to the Ville is my guy, Arnold Jackson.
What's good, bro? What's good, man?
Bro, nothing. Look, I'm sitting here. I thought I was good, man. I've been practicing all day, and I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna get choked up. I'm 40. I'm a man, and I'm like, I love you, Daddy. So I couldn't hear you. So, man, it's good to have you on finally, man. We've been trying to get this together for a while.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm here now, man. It's all good.
Look, you were one of, even though we were friends long ago, like I do not think we were on the football team together. I think I was there at U of L while you were there, but Coach Cooper had already asked me to take the medical red shirt. And then I went and got the medical evaluation. They're like, nope, you're done. So Coach Cooper, he didn't coach you, did he? Or he had 1 year?
Yeah, Coach Cooper had me for 2 years.
2 years. Okay, yeah, that's right. So then you were there. Okay. Look, we're getting older. It's been a long time. It is what it is. But just always one of my favorite people. Me, you, and Lavelle used to have a blast. But I took my wife. So I started dating my wife back in 1998.
Yeah.
And the first game that I took her to, you had 2 spectacular touchdowns that were called back. And on both of them, you ran 8 yards back just to run 70 forward.
Yeah.
And my wife, she didn't know nothing about football. She grew up a Kentucky fan. She had no idea what football was supposed to be like. And she's like, why does he keep running backwards just to run forwards? I said, that's AJ, man. That's just how he does. How you been, man? I've been dealing with some stuff over the last 9 months. I ain't been in touch as much as I normally do with Dad being sick, but how you been?
I've been pretty good, brother. You know, just here, still doing the same thing, working out, training, just to stay healthy, all that good stuff, you know. Just pretty much the same thing. Ain't much changed since college, you know, just a little bit of extra work here and there. That's about it. Cool.
Again, he needs no introduction. Number 10 on your program, number 1 in your heart. And when I say one of the most electrifying for a guy like Dalton that's only like 14 years old. I'm joking. I'm joking, Dalton.
Yeah.
When I was going to say when we were playing, but you got on the field and I did not. When we were on the team, I don't even know if Dalton was old enough to be out of diapers yet. So I'm not sure he really.
I was born in 1998.
I hope that your connection dies a slow, painful death. No, I'm just kidding.
Yikes! I mean, I can turn the Wi-Fi off. It'll be like
I'm joking.
spring.
But he never watched. He never watched. But when I mentioned most electrifying players, the people that have been grown-ups for about 15 years, Lamar Jackson. But when you ask an OG or somebody that's been watching football for longer than 20 years, they remember who the most electrifying player in Louisville football history was. And that was you, man. And I'm so grateful and thankful to be able to call you a friend. I'm so glad we all met up back then. And, here we are all this time later. And who would have thought? I never would have thought I would be interviewing you on a show, but, here we are. Look, one funny story before I get back to what I have to ask you. I was working after Coach Cooper told me I was not medical. Well, the doctors told me I was not medically able to play any longer. I got a job at EA Sports, and every time the new games come out, I got so many points per year to be able to cash in for games, and I knew every time Madden, every time college football, every time college basketball came out, I knew I was going to use 9 points for each game, and I only got like 30 a year. But I was like, all right, got to get Bell one, got to get AJ one. And, that's just how we rolled. So I wanted to ask you a question because I don't know. So you're from Jacksonville. You live in Jacksonville now. So you went from the Ville to the Ville to the Ville. What are you, so we've had a couple rough years here football-wise. We've had people after 2 seasons ready to throw the coach out in the river. I have warned and begged people, hey, we made this mistake with Ron Cooper. You saw how Coach Cooper's players ended up being what would have been in his 3rd and 4th seasons. That's when we started to turn the program around. He had the right personnel. He should have got more time, but John L. came in, and it is what it is. But what are your thoughts on the current? Because I feel like, and I've told everybody, the listeners, you got to give the coaches 4 to 5 years to get all their players in, their philosophies, just strategies, gameplay, just playbooks, everything. You have to be able to get all of them in and have some time. And here we are sitting, and this is about to be Dalton. Is this about to be year 4, right? This is start of year 4? Okay. And he's got now by numbers, because back again, this makes me feel old as can be. When we were growing up, we didn't have stars. If we had you'd have had 10 of them, and I would have had 1. But we didn't have stars. We didn't have recruiting classes. But this recruiting class is shaping up to be the best in the modern recruiting era. I still would put Chris Redmond, Ivan Green, Don Bibb, and all those, at the number 1 class for me, just being around a lot longer. But how do you feel about the new coaching staff pulling in a historic recruiting class?
That's amazing because that's huge. You on this Nick Saban level as far as pulling in these big kids. That's always huge. That's a huge thing around here. And Louisville have made a name for themselves after everything that's going on, different coaches change and all this good stuff. But kids are still really trying to get there and get it done.
Absolutely. And for the longest time, we had a Florida pipeline, and it was like North Florida is what we joked around and called it back in the day. But now we're starting to get an out west flavor. We've got Pierce Clarkson, who is recruiting the entire state of California to come play at Louisville, and is being pretty successful so far. So the pipeline, if you could have Louisville with the California and a Florida pipeline, man, that can be huge, especially now in the NIL days. And I keep telling people, man, I wish I probably could have got us both in the Lavelle a bunch of NIL deals growing, because I was always a talker back then. I was a hustler. We probably could have had an EA Sports sponsorship, a Rallies. What was the name of the restaurant up there? Windows. We could have had a Windows sponsorship.
Oh yeah, Windows. Yeah. Is Windows even still in the sack? Is it still there?
No, bro. It's been gone for about 20 years, unfortunately.
Oh man,
it left the day Dalton was born, apparently. But So, okay, next question. Sorry, I'm off track. I promise you I'll get to y'all's questions after I ask AJ the rest of my questions. Dalton gets him his questions. I'm going to ask him y'all's questions as well and catch up a little bit. Higgy is supposed to be writing down some of the important information. Everybody always wants to know when you've got a legend, and you are a Louisville legend, when you look at the current team, is there a wide receiver on this team that reminds you of yourself?
I like this kid. I believe he's a JUCO transfer, maybe. What is his name?
Braden. You thinking Braden?
What's his last name?
Smith.
Are you talking about Hudson, the guy from FCS?
Hudson.
Yeah, there you go.
I like this kid. I like his swagger, everything about him. You know, he moves around and he make big plays. You know, he don't go down easy. So that's huge, and he make big catches. I like the way he go up and get the ball.
Okay. I think I probably would have compared you to Amari Huggins Bruce myself. I never would have compared you to him. I would have compared him to you.
Okay.
He's just so electrifying. He makes those big catches in traffic. And other than last year where he started showboating at the one and dropped the ball and gave it to the other team at the 1 yard line, everything else about him reminds me of you. You know.
Okay.
How many times did you had over 300 catches in your career? How many times did you fumble?
Probably twice that I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
I knew it wasn't many.
Maybe I fumbled one time under Coop, and I fumbled one time under John Smith that I can remember. That's about it.
I didn't think it was going to be many. 300 career catches. Now, I don't know how many players have that now, but back then that was a huge deal for Louisville to have the first ever 300 catch guy, and it was just so awesome watching you do work. Other than Hudson, who else do you like in this group of wide receivers?
You guys got a big kid. I believe he's number 81, maybe.
Is that Hudson?
I don't know.
I
don't even know what number.
Is that the kid from Miami?
Yeah.
No, Braden Smith's number 4.
Number 8 from Miami.
Okay, Wiggins.
Wiggins. I like that kid. He has a lot of swagger. I like that about him. So, you know, when you got that kind of swagger, you're gonna somehow make plays. It just happens. I like him a lot.
Absolutely. All right, Don, I'm gonna let you. I got another question to ask him, but it's kind of like a closing question. So I'll let you go ahead and ask.
Okay, cool. Obviously, if you can't tell by what Jeremy's saying, I haven't been around in the grand scheme of things for that long on this earth. So you're a little ahead of my time. But from seeing some of the teams that you've played against, I'm interested to hear about some of the toughest defenders that you feel like were kind of the biggest challenges for you at the college ranks. Some that people may know, but some that, you know, might not necessarily, you know, have the weight behind their name that we all know from. Okay,
I remember we played Southern Miss, and I was up against Patrick Surtain Sr., right? He was pretty good. I got to give it to him. He was pretty good. He understood the game. He knew the angles. I'm pretty sure he watched a lot of film on me. You know, I watched it on him. So I knew a couple of things he did, and he just about knew everything I did. But he was definitely a solid corner. And I would say the next best thing I would say is Sam Madison. I had to go against him in practice a whole lot. Man, that guy can go. Loved him a lot. You know, he taught me a lot of things my freshman year that helped me throughout my college career. But I wasn't too many corners that could hold me.
and that's not just trash. That's the absolute truth. And look, we were fortunate back then. So I'll step in for a second, Dalton. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
I know that, but I'm just going to step in for a second. I know I'm fine. But anyway, that was like the first boom of NFL players from Louisville. It was Rico Clark, Sam Madison, Ray Buchanan, Roman Oben. And we were so lucky. They would come back. Joe Johnson, Kendrick Golston, all those guys would come back and work with us throughout the season. Like everything that we wished had been going on here for the last X amount of years before Coach Satterfield got here, it happened then. And Coach Sat's done a wonderful job of including guys like Michael Bush and Deion Branch and Eric Wood and stuff like that. That's stuff that fans eat up. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, couldn't nobody hold him in practice? Nobody. Or games either. So, all right, Dalton, back to you, bro. I appreciate it.
Okay. Another thing really essential, and this is kind of more towards giving the audience a little bit of a taste of, coming into Louisville, being a standout from, the Sunshine State. What was it about Louisville? Because, at the time, you talk about the context of the program, you don't have a couple decades that, starting out the program, getting it to where it is now, per se, where it was in, the late 90s, early 2000s. I wonder, what was the allure from the city of Louisville, from the coaching staff, from the university? Why did you pick this Cardinals program?
So I was being recruited by U of L, and Sal Sincere, that's the guy that recruited me back in the day. But, once I got to Louisville, it told my mom all the great things she wanted to hear, this, that, and the other. It sounded good to me. All I want to do was play football, that was all I want to do. But it turned out great education, and once I got here, it was like a family. Coach Tony Ball with the Ron Cooper era, he was like a father figure, he made it that education came first, and you already have the football skill to make great things happen, So it was more so that, and a lot of Florida teams kind of said I was too small, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, and they wanted to turn me into a corner, but I just I wasn't gonna play no cornerback, So Louisville stuck with me from the beginning to the end, and there's no way you turn out a school that do something like that.
Last question I got, Jeremy. Obviously, I'm glad you've kind of touched a little bit on, the idea of being a smaller receiver. I think that, recency bias is a hell of a thing. And, smaller receivers now, it seems like, collegiate-wise, even professional ranks, it's probably never been a better time to be a smaller receiver, thanks to Tyreek Hill and company. Back, in your playing days, it seems like, obviously you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from kind of the research I've done, is that it seemed like, taller receivers might have been a little bit more valued in certain systems. How did you kind of not only carry that chip on your shoulder and put it into like a positive motivation, but also, what was your idea of trying to, carve out a role in a high Division I offense?
Back in those days, I was a small receiver. I just was way ahead of my time because, coaches couldn't believe somebody my size could do the things I did. So, with that being said, it is what it is. So now smaller receivers is like the league now. Speed is strength, or whatever they want to call it. Like, but I mean, it was huge. I felt like, if somebody else can do it, I can do it. Why can't I, just because he's taller than me, stronger than me, whatever it may be. So I feel like that I had to do it. Coming from where I'm from, I didn't want to come back home and be a failure. So nothing could stop me from succeeding.
You good? You good, D? You got it?
Yeah.
Higgy, did you have any? Look, I want to ask. We got a user question from Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve wants to know, how different was it playing for Coach Cooper and then for John L?
Wow. I guess coming in as a freshman with Coach Cooper, my eyes were just wide open. It was just like, just make a play. Just make a play. We know you got it. And that's what I did, learning the game, not really, I had a red shirt freshman year, but John L had a nice system, it's pretty much one-on-one, and you just go at it, it's wide open. Coach Coop had a 2-receiver type deal. So I like the wide open better. You could just wiggle around, and being small, you just light anybody up. So
absolutely. We have another fan that was wanting to know. Tice wants to know, what are your thoughts on NIL? And before you answer that, I know you're not asking me, Tice, but I'm gonna give you my opinion anyway, because it's my show and I do what I do. But I feel like it can be a positive thing, but you've got to have the right mind frame for it. I talked with Sydney Curry about this earlier in the week, and I was asking him, because it's been obvious to me on Louisville football's team anyway, the guys who can handle it and the guys who cannot handle it, because it's such stress and pressure. I feel like you have to have a strong mind to be able to handle it, but everybody, and obviously you always want to get paid, and I wish we could have got paid back in the day, but it's like, it's not for everybody. What are your thoughts on it, Arnold?
I feel the same way. You got definitely have a strong mind and just be focused and master your craft. But it would have been huge for us to get paid back then. Things would have went a whole lot different. It's just crazy.
What, you would have had 600 catches instead?
1,000 maybe.
All right, man. Last question. I'm gonna let you get off here because I know you've been working all week and it's time to relax. Pop open a cold Diet Mountain Dew. That's what I was talking about. Nothing else. When you coming home to visit, man?
I should be back within maybe the next probably about 2 months. I'll get up there and kind of hang out with everybody, and Zeke and Lavelle, the whole crew, Don Bibb, Ivan Green, Chris Redmond, I like the whole crew, Dion, the whole entire crew, man. I should be there about July, October, man. I should be there in October.
All right, man. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Definitely.
I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you coming on. Nobody ever asked me what I was talking about, Willis, because I always had Arnold Jackson right next to me as my guy, number 10. Use your Twitter more. Look, if I had to tell you, man, there are so many people on Twitter that want to reach out to you and just show love. But man, Arnold is so sporadic with his Twitter. He'll retweet stuff from like 4 months ago and then respond to a tweet. Look, it could be a great thing. So your Twitter is at AJUL10. Is that correct? Or is it 10?
Yes, sir. That's it. Yeah.
All right. Everybody, it has been your pleasure to hear my guy, Arnold Jackson. Arnold, thank you so much, man.
No problem, brother. Anytime.
All right. Talk to you soon.
No doubt.
All right. Well, Arnold Jackson, man, I love that dude. He's one of my favorite people ever. Just awesome. Sorry, I had somebody trying to hop in 30 minutes into the show that just wasn't getting in. Giggity. All right, so let me just explain the next interview real quick, and I'm gonna try to get to some of these questions that I didn't answer. Great seeing Arnold. One of I'm about to have. Okay, that's you know what, that's fine, because so we were supposed to have Sydney on live today. That did not happen. However, we were able to get an interview recorded last minute. Was so thankful he still took the time out, even though we had some technological issues. So I'm going to play that interview. So Dalton, you and Higgy can go to the bathroom if you don't want to hear the interview. I'm just kidding. But I'm going to play the interview. Well, you know what? Let's just play the interview now. We'll lead up to that because we got a whole bunch of other stuff to go through. And I'm not making Ben Sowders wait. So let's get to the interview. Where's it at? Bank? No, not that one. All right, so this is Louisville. This is Louisville forward, center, whatever he wants to be. This is Sydney Curry. Guys, if you will put yourselves on mute, I'll do the same, and we will get to this interview right now. All right, thank you all there in the studio for throwing it to me, Jeremy Wildman. It's a good throw in, because like nobody really does that quite like me, so I appreciate it. But who we have on the line now? Now, we had some technical difficulties. This was supposed to be a video interview. Couldn't get it done. That's okay. It's Louisville basketball forward, center, guard, whatever he wants to play, he'll do it because he's the man. It's my guy, Sydney Curry. Sydney, what's good, man?
Yo, what's up, my guy? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Man, I've been trying to get you on for a minute, so I'm glad we've finally been able to get this done.
No, for sure. Me too, bro. Glad to be on the show with you.
All right, cool. Well, I got some fun questions for you, and then I got some serious, not so serious questions for you. So let's get into it real quick. First off, the people want to know, how's your summer been so far?
The summer has been good, man. You know, just getting some quality work in, like the coaches and the players that we have. So just getting some good work in. It's been good.
Cool. Now, this is my question. Branding in NIL has been a big point of emphasis this last year. And you are definitely one of the guys that are in the forefront of branding yourself and promoting yourself on social media. Anybody that asks me, I tell them you're the king of social media. How good does it feel for your hard work to pay off finally, and for you to be able to, you do work harder than anybody else. You're always going live. You're always promoting where you're at. You're always super interactive with the fans, but you're seeing a return now. How does that feel?
It feels good. You know, all the hard work is paying off. I got to keep working, man. So never be settled. You know, just keep working, man. Every day is my motto. So that's my plan. Just keep working hard every day. And everything take care of itself.
Cool. Now I know the assumption for me, because I've been watching this over the last year, it doesn't look like NIL is for everybody. It looks like, to me, if I had to make the assumption, you got to have a hard work ethic. You got to be willing to sacrifice. But you also see some of the players out there that it's just absolutely is a distraction. Do you agree with that? Do you think this can be a distraction for people if they're not strong-minded?
I feel like there's some people that has the mind to withstand it, but I feel like to some people it can be a distraction. But to people that's mature and stuff, I feel like it's not a distraction to people that are mature about it. But I do feel like it can be a distraction to some people, but not to a lot of people. No.
Cool. On here with our guy Sydney Curry. Sydney, how do you like? Let's get into some of the stuff that's been going over the summer basketball wise. How do you like it so far playing for playing for KP? I know you've not played an actual game, but practicing under him. What is your favorite thing about the practices with him, and your least favorite?
I'd probably say it's not a least favorite, but you know, we just working hard, man. Every day in, day out, we just get into it, just working hard. He pushes us, you know. So I'd probably say this him being there, you know, encouraging everybody to work hard is probably one of the best things, man.
Cool. Great. Look, great diplomatic answer. I can't fault you for that. I wasn't trying to lead you down the wrong way, but I wanted to see if you had something good for me. So when I talk to him later, I could give him some stuff about it. So that, you know, that's a good answer there. A lot of fans around here don't know much about it's going to be one of your front court mates, Brandon Huntley Hatfield. What has impressed you so far about him? What should the fans expect?
You know, he's a good player, man. He can shoot the ball pretty well, more than people think. He can shoot the ball pretty well, rebound the ball pretty well, and score too. So this can be me and him battling down there, man. I'm happy he's here with me.
Look, iron sharpens iron. So I knew when we got him, that wasn't going to be nothing but beneficial for the both of you all. Last question about the coaching staff. Who do you think is going to benefit the most from having guys like KP, Danny Manning, Nolan, Josh Jameson, the whole staff? Who do you think will benefit the most from having those guys around?
I think everybody will benefit from having everybody around. Just on the high character coaches that we have. I think everybody will.
There you go. And that's for those of y'all that don't know, which you must be living under a rock. If you don't, that's national championship coaches: Kenny Payne, Nolan Smith, Danny Manning. Like, they know how to get this done at the highest level. Josh Jameson's been like the director of basketball operations for the Nike's flagship school for 16 years. Like, these guys know how to get it done. So when I see the fans out there that are skeptical, I'm like, what are y'all bugging about, man? This is a world-class staff, and they will get it done. I want to play a quick game with you, and then I'm gonna let you go because it is getting late, and I don't want to waste too much of your time. I'm gonna say a teammate of yours, and I want you to give me the first thing that comes to your mind. Just a couple words. It don't have to be a whole paragraph or anything. But I'm gonna name a couple of the teammates, and you tell me what comes to your mind when I mention their name. All right, the first teammate I'm gonna go with is L. Ellis.
Tough guard, you know, can score the ball well. This is my guy, you know, this is my dog.
All right, Jalen Withers.
Man, it's my dog too, man. He can do everything on the court. It's my dog, man. It's one of my guys.
All right, let's go with Roosevelt Willer.
Man, that's my dog too, man. Like we all close. Man, you know, so I'm saying them all my guys, you know, feel good coming back together with them.
All right, I'm gonna do one. I can name a couple more, but and the guy who I think is gonna have the most to prove this year, and that's gonna actually I have a tie. I think this will be a tie between Mike James and JJ. I don't know why I couldn't remember. Out of those two, do you agree with it? Do you think those are going to be one of those two guys is going to be the guy that comes in and just absolutely transforms what they did last year?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we didn't get to see Mike last year because of his injury.
Right.
I know he's working hard, man. You know, working hard day in, day out. I'm seeing a lot of progress from Mike, so and JJ. So it's a lot of progress from everybody. So definitely.
All right, cool. Last question. Then we're gonna talk about the camp. Actually, let's talk about the camp. Camp is Saturday, July the 30th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's at Highview Baptist Church, 7711 Fagenbush Lane. What can the parents expect that are signing up for this camp? And I know they're signing up at a pretty good clip too.
What'd you say?
I said, well, what should the parents and kids expect from the camp?
You know, to have a great experience, man. You know, special day. Just to vibe out with us, man. Just to work hard, you know. So I feel like that'd be good for the kids coming in, man. Just go have fun. Special day.
All right, cool. What do you have? Do you have a special message for the fans? Because you know the fans are out there. Look, I can tell you this: after having to live in this state with that other school's fans for our entire lives, we're sick and tired of them. So whenever things aren't going the way that we think, well, the fans, I have a different mind frame because I actually, you know, I kind of helped with the basketball team in the mid 2000s. So I kind of have a different perspective of things. And plus I have to be kind of unbiased doing what I do. But for those fans that are just like jumping off the bridge every 5 minutes, what do you have to say to those guys? Because even if they're saying negative things, at the end of the day, they love this team. They love the players. They're frustrated. We have had a tough little 7-8 year stretch here. But what do you, Sidney Curry, I would call the leader of the team, what would you have to say to them?
I'll just probably just say to stay patient, you know. A lot of stuff is falling into place. Don't get discouraged, man. Just stay patient. That's all I say.
Absolutely. All right, Sidney, before we let you go, anything else you have going on? Anything you want to promote?
No, man, I'm just ready for the season, man. Ready for the season to come. Ready for the camp. Get to enjoy it with the little campers and just ready for the season to come.
Absolutely. Look, you all can go back in the archives of this podcast. When it was announced that Sidney Curry was going to be a member of this team, I looked around at everybody, and it's on the show. It's on the air. I looked around and told everybody that this guy, because I'd watched your film, I didn't know much about you as a person at that point. I do now. And I'm very proud of you as a person and what you're doing. But I looked around to every member of the podcast table and said, this is the missing piece for Louisville's next national championship run. And I still believe it, Sidney. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you taking your time out today.
No problem, my guy. I appreciate you.
All right. Back to you guys in the studio. That would be, y'all can unmute your mics now. I just didn't want to hear Higgy eating on. Look, we have some people that are watching the show that wants to know what you're eating, Higgy.
I'm eating actually homemade meatloaf, green beans, and roasted potatoes.
During the show. Like some people didn't bother showing up for the, you know what? At least you're here. Some people didn't even bother to show up for the show. So I'll give you that. Teresa, he's eating everything. That's the answer to your question. The word on Fabio, expected an announcement this week. He's a great person, yada, 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 yada. Okay, trying to go for back. What's the scoop on DJ and Bradshaw? I'm not following through that wormhole. My guy, not doing it. And yes, Michelle, that was the funniest part about it. I was telling them before the show, I asked about LLC. He's like, that's my dog. And then I asked about Jalen Willis. He's like, that's my dog too. And I was like, well, what about Rose? They're all my dogs. So rough. That's where we're at. Shout out to everybody tuning in. I appreciate you all. Robert Dalton had to take care of a personal matter. And he did. So it was everything worked out for the best. He loves them all. He really does. And it started out well because he was like, man, Ellis, tough guard, get to the hole. That's my dog. And I think he had been listening to DMX or just got caught up on that's my dog because you could hear me chuckle. I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting any more than that's my dog or a political answer from him. And I appreciate it. Dude's why is the Higgy snack tip line on? I had Sydney's. Sorry about that. Let me put that back on. We'll run that for a minute till our next guest comes on to join us here soon. But yeah,
no
so
one's in the text line.
I've already like put them all up on the yes, I do want the football questions, but after we get Ben off of the show. Yes, my guy. That's my dog. That's my guy. Let's see. Cool. Got that. Sydney is such a great ambassador for the program. He's a good dude. I agree. Lance, Mike, and JJ are going to be huge this year. I'm optimistic, and I don't know if it's because I've been through such disappointment in the last year as far as our sports are concerned, but I'm feeling really good both ways. I know y'all want to talk about some of the stuff that's been going on that's negative. I'm not going to do that this episode. We can save that for another episode, but I will touch on this because I do owe y'all this much before Ben logs in here in about 7 minutes. I think we can get some run out of this. All I can tell y'all is this. The information that I was given back in February when I asked about it the other day, that remained the same. Now, for some reason, our fan base likes to take one tweet from one person and then go nuclear with it. I'm not saying that I believe now that DJ will be a Cardinal, but I have not been told. I've not been told differently. Normally, my guy with Imani Bates, I warned you all the Sunday before he committed, he wasn't going to be a Cardinal, and all I heard was, "Well, you said he was going to be a Cardinal." Well, yeah, I can only go by what his dad had said, and the second his dad told me it wasn't going to be Louisville, I put that out to you all. You all called me crazy, and that's what happened. Same thing with DJ. I had been told this whole time that DJ was going to be a Cardinal. I've been told this whole time that they were pretty sure Bradshaw was going to be a Cardinal. And then we've been going through all these emotions the last few weeks and months. And now earlier this week, I was told. Now, also, I want to give y'all a shout out. For about the first 10 days, nobody DM'd me with any sports questions. And I appreciated that because I didn't want to log into Twitter. I didn't want to jump into that cesspool. I was trying to grieve and do my own thing. And it was very nice not to wake up with 50 DMs. Hey, what's going on with DJ? What's going on with this and that? Here's what I will say. My guy Steve Rummage put out a tweet earlier today. Y'all said y'all want to talk about it, and it was like, LOL, just kidding. But I agree with them. Let's say DJ does commit next week to the other school. Until he signs, that's not a done deal. I mean, we've seen it in the past. Terrence Jones committed to Washington or Kansas which one? Help me out, Higgy. He committed to another school. No, it was Kansas. I think it was Kansas. Got their money. I mean, obviously it was not legal. Got their money, and then a week later, flipped to Kentucky, and then got their money. So, and yes, I know what I'm saying, and I don't care. It is what it is. But that happens. So until he signs on the dotted line there, I'm okay. I really am. I'm fine. And even, look, we've also had some people that I respect that are my guys that just love to just whatever. They either, oh, yeah, we're getting DJ, or, oh, man, we suck, we're not getting DJ. And I'm still in the mind frame. Look, KP's been on the job 100 days. He's not coached a game. He's starting later than, and was there a portion of this fan base, including myself, that thought he was going to just come in and take other teams' recruits? Maybe. I mean, I thought that he was going to come in and just dominate, and he got us Devin Ree. He got us Brandon Huntley Hatfield. He's about to reclass, I believe. He's about to reclass Fabio, Flippity Dippity, whatever his name is. And that's going to be a solid first class. It just is. This first year, if you had expectations of a national championship the first year, then you're a buffoon, Higgy. Sorry. Didn't mean to call you out. I mean, you predict Louisville to be 12-0 every year in football. If that was your thought process, you're a buffoon. And I love you still. You're my buffoon, but it's just, and no, I'm not throwing any shots at anybody that's on the screen right now. But you are. It's just unrealistic to think he was going to come in and flip the switch, and we were going to go from 12-20 to 30-5 or 34-3 or whatever. He's still got his hand. He's still in the mix for DJ. Still in the mix for Aaron Bradshaw. Got some intel today that said it's either going to be Louisville or G League for Aaron Bradshaw. Not sure how true that is. I just try to share. Look, that's another thing. When I get intel, I try to share that with you all because a lot of people do not share their intel. And I appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate y'all clicking on the site. I appreciate y'all's support. So anytime I hear something that I'm told you can share that, I'm going to share that. But what I will tell you about DJ Wagner is I still have not been told opposite yet. Like I was with Imani. I was told about Imani about, what was it, 4 days before, and I immediately informed you all of that. I've not been told that DJ was signing. People text me while I'm doing a show. Sorry. What's up? Sorry. No big deal. Just doing a show here, buddy. I haven't been told differently. The Bradshaw intel I heard at the EYBL, I haven't been told differently. And we're just going to have to look. There were Duke fans and Louisville fans that raked me up and down the coals when I said, hey, you think Duke's mad at us for taking Nolan Smith? Watch what's about to happen, because I was given intel then. And everybody's like, oh, it didn't happen in 2 days, so it's never going to happen. You suck. I said, wait, by the end of the summer, you'll start hearing some stuff. Dalton, who did we start hearing about this week that's committed to another school but hadn't signed yet?
Dude, I've been so out of the recruiting realm.
Caleb Foster.
Really
Caleb Foster from Duke, which is one of the two guys that I was speaking of. I set you up, and you higgied it there. So, all right, you're fired. Just kidding. Caleb Foster, the kid from Duke, which I was alluding to back then, and Duke fans were like, you're just a Louisville guy that sucks, and you don't know what you're talking about. And here we are. Caleb Foster's not signed yet. Mackenzie Magabo, not signed yet. Not sure I said that right. Don't care. I'll learn it when he comes to play here. Our iron is still in so many fires. Gigi Jackson, I don't think we have a legitimate shot at him, but I know that the staff was really
South Carolina.
Yeah, well, that's the rumor. But he also was supposed to commit to North Carolina and did, and then decommitted. So you just never know what's would you be willing to record that? That would have been good to know earlier. I just had somebody ask me if I could record a live podcast tomorrow. That would have been good. But it is what it is. We still have our iron and a lot of fires here, and just don't give up on KP. Don't give up on the new staff. They've not even coached the game. They're starting 2-3, even with DJ. In DJ's case, that other team down the road, which I won't say their name, started recruiting him 3 years ago. We just jumped in on him 100 days ago. Like, they had a massive head start. And this ain't, I know there's going to be people out there like, you're backtracking, you're trying to justify it. No, I'm giving facts. Have I believed all along he would be a Cardinal? Absolutely. I haven't been told differently. If he chooses the other school, will I be incorrect? Yes, because the people that I trust that have told me he was going to be a Cardinal were either misinformed or something changed. Y'all don't understand. These are kids. Things can change. I mean, I was even with Imani's dad. He told me that Imani was going to Memphis. And then 2 days later, he texted me. He's like, never mind. He's not going to Memphis. We got a better deal. So it's like, what things can change. So I will continue to share the intel that I'm allowed to share with you all. And y'all just got to love it or just stop tuning into the show. I'm just kidding. Before we get to our last guest, which is patiently waiting on the line for us, let's talk about some of our fine sponsors. First up, we got Shack in the Back Barbecue, 502-363-3BBQ. It's located in the heart of Fairdale. They smoke everything there. We got some news about them later on the show I'm excited to tell you all about. Our guys, Chris and Sarah up at Fitness Market, their phone number, 502-882-2694. They have got, I've told y'all time and time again, I've got all my workout equipment from there. I enjoy them as people. They're always really nice and helpful when I go in. I do go in and buy stuff, so they should be nice and helpful, but just amazing people. Our guy Rob Black out at Derby City Lawn and Landscaping, 502-773-5757. He does great work. You can find him on Facebook. He puts videos of his work on there all the time. Not sure if he's got a Twitter page or not. Our guy Chris out at Four Pegs Beer Lounge, 502-634-1447. And he is at 1447 Goss Avenue. Is that correct, Higgy?
Correct.
Thank you. That's your input for the show. Great food there. They have a lot of different stuff, and they're right there on Goss Avenue, located, nestled there in Old Louisville, Smoketown, whatever you call that area. Great dude. Love that guy as well. Last but not least, All-American Pool and Supply Company. That is the Pence Empire I'm speaking of. If you need supplies for your pool, give them a call, 502-448-0300. Or if you're wanting to plan your big pool build for next year, they'll help you out. They'll get it done, and they do a fantastic job. You can also find all of the sponsors of the show on Facebook. And I believe Four Pegs and Shack in the Back are on Twitter, but the rest of them are on Facebook. Guys, really, really quickly, because I do want to speak about this before we get our last guest on. Dalton, I'll ask you this. You are our football beat writer for CardinalSportsZone.com. We got news early in the week that not only we already knew Pierce Clarkson was going to enroll early, but also that Ruben Owens, the highest ranked, one of the highest, is he the highest or second highest?
He is the second highest, I believe.
Okay, he's
rating wise.
Okay, so he's a stud. He's going to enroll early. We're on a big roll recruiting wise. I guess my question for you is, where did this all come from? It's seemingly out of the blue. We ended last season with the fan base. Now, not us, because we are partial. Some of us has played football in real life, and then Higgy's played on the PlayStation. But those of us that are objective knew that it was going to take a couple years to get everything rolling. We talked about that earlier with Louisville legend Arnold Jackson, the wideout, number 10. The seemingly is coming out of nowhere. So I guess my question to you is this that people are finally buying in to Coach Sat and what? Because I've always been a big fan of him personally and what he's selling. Is this NIL related? Is it Pierce Clarkson related, or is it a combination of everything? Just everything hitting on the right cylinders at the right time?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, I think that you mentioned the three main reasons of it. I think it obviously starts with Satterfield. And I mentioned on my show recently that I felt like I personally needed to give Scott Satterfield flowers, because although it does come down to wins and losses, and I'm not trying to justify the last two seasons or downplay the urgency for this upcoming season, but all of the talk coming into the offseason, a lot of it was, well, we need to revamp the recruiting department. He hired another recruiting coordinator. They have maximized the NIL realm of things. Shout out to Josh Hurd, Scott Satterfield, and all of those involved. And then I think that kind of goes along the lines of saying, top players want to play with other top players. A lot of kids go to places where they are going to be in chances and opportunities to win and win at a high level. So I think Pierce Clarkson was the tip of the iceberg. All it takes was one player to get that ball rolling. And you talk about a very popular player like Pierce Clarkson, and then each recruit that committed after that, that's just one more player that can possibly lure another guy to come play. Like I mentioned, I think it's a snowball effect. It's an accumulation of a lot of things. Obviously, you have to have Scott Satterfield and company here for their role in all of this, and the family aspect that people keep drilling in and the players keep talking about. But a opposing fans think it's hogwash because their schools are not caught up to date on the NIL realm and stuff like that, and they can't believe it. But yeah, I think it's a combination of everything. And I mean, people talk about, oh, it's cheesy private jets. I think let's go to the 2023 Louisville football commitment list and see when some of these guys visited, and we'll let results speak for themselves. So to make a long answer shorter,
but you didn't. It was very long.
Yeah, to make a long answer, to bring it back around is just kind of saying that it's everything. It's not one thing. People will say, "Oh, it's just NIL." Obviously, it's not, because other programs are starting to catch on, and we're hearing from Madden Sanker, Pierce Clarkson, and Ruben Owens all going to be early enrollees at the University of Louisville. So
that's pretty huge. Speaking of the University of Louisville football program, and I'm so sorry we've made him wait for this long, but Dalton wouldn't shut up. I'm just kidding. He is
me.
I know. I'm long with. Look, he knows my family. He knows how my family is, so that's no surprise to him that I'm long-winded. It is the Louisville football strength and conditioning coach. It's our guy, Ben Sowders. Ben, what's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? Seven weekends for the first game.
There we go. 7 weekends away. Man, so glad you could be on the show with us tonight and talk with us. We've had a jam-packed show. We had on, I know you could hear us talking a few minutes ago, but we had on Louisville football great wide receiver Arnold Jackson with us earlier. He played at Louisville here with me. We had on Louisville basketball forward, center, whatever he wants to play, Sidney Curry. And then we saved the best for last, Ben Sowders. So first off, what's going on, man? How you doing? I know you said you were traveling down to God's country earlier, which I just came back from. What's going on?
Just wrapped up a fantastic week of training with our guys. And, gonna do it, and then we crank back up and finish these last 2 weeks strong before we start.
All right. So I want to explain to everybody, when you were named strength and conditioning coach, I got excited because we have a connection. As soon as you were named coach, I texted my cousin who I'm not going to name him because that would make him happy. And I'm not giving him any shout out to his wife, Whitney, his daughters, Carrie Ann, Chloe, Catherine, and his son, Camden. Not going to mention him though. But he's like, that's Ben from church, right? And I was like, what? No, that kid. Yeah, okay, it is. So we already have this connection, because when you go to church, especially down in Brownsville, whether it be Sweden, Steve Paula, Jock, any of those, there's a bond formed because of the way we were raised. And I'm so thankful for that bond. And I'm thankful that somebody that shares my beliefs is represented at the University of Louisville. So, man, I appreciate you so much for because you left Georgia to come to Louisville. Not a lot of people would have done that. We actually had one guy that did that and then left for somewhere else before he could even get started. So, first off, I want to tell you how much we appreciate you and just how cool it is for me to have somebody, whether or not you remember me or – I definitely remember you, but to have somebody I know, Deion Branch also, he was one of my buddies when I was here at Louisville. To have y'all up there, it means a lot to me. So you explained my next question was going to be, how's the summer been? But you kind of explained that to us. We were just talking about the importance of early enrollment. How much of an advantage does that give kids?
Yeah, it certainly gives them a head up on the other classmates that they're going, the acclimatization that allows them, and the learning from the weight room along with their position coaches. Everything is just expedited, and summer comes around and training camp comes around where they're actually going to. It's almost like they've already had a whole year. They just didn't play. And by the time spring ball is done, that's 15 practices that they're 6 months that they've been in a true strength conditioning program which there's a lot of good high school strength conditioning programs. It's not the same. You can't mimic a high school like a college. There's resources. Now there's some that are close, but just the everyday things that are involved, it's just you just can't mimic it.
Absolutely. And we did have thinking back, I actually early enrolled, and it didn't help me out at all, but I kept getting hurt. That's the only reason why. I want to ask you this. Who will we be? Because I was talking to one of your players earlier. I'm gonna keep him anonymous for a second, but he wanted me to ask you who will we be the most surprised by from the beginning of the summer till now, as far as improvement, and stuff like that, just physical improvement, speed, stuff like that. Who would we be most impressed by?
There's a lot of guys. I can't name just. It's been a great summer, and honestly, it started back in January. And our standard of what we're going to do and how we're going to do things. But there's several guys, guys that come to mind really stands out. He's put on 16, 17 pounds, and he just ran the been here. So he's beefed up. You got Mike Gonzalez. You got Renato Brown. You got Caleb Chandler's finally back being, healthy, knock on wood, being the Caleb Chandler that we all know he can be and more into a leadership role and helping our guys. Brian Hudson, they've all put on weight and they've lost from, D-line, Desmond Tell, a really great summer. Jermaine Lowell, the transfer from Arizona State came in. He was like 335. He's down to 320 now. So he's lost 15 pounds and he's back in better shape. You got guys like Raheem Craig on the edge, Yazir, he played at about 230, 45, and he just hit one of his fastest speeds. So, I can go on and on about the trenches first. Not a knock on our skill guys, but skill guys, they get all the glory for throwing touchdowns or getting picks or running the ball. But you guys know, and so, but I can go on day. Amari, Bruce Huggins had a real summer. He's put on 10 pounds this summer. His speed is up 5 in workouts. This coming week should be, thus far since I've been here. So we got a really good thing going. They're completely bought in, and I hate saying bought in, but they've just done an unbelievable job since January when our staff came in. Change is hard, but sometimes change is good.
Absolutely. I have one more anonymous question, and I'm gonna hand you off to Dalton real quick, and hope you don't fumble. It's the anonymous question here. The question from one of your players is, what are your thoughts on Monty Montgomery, and why am I the best?
Monty's had an outstanding summer. Really, honestly, he's had an outstanding last 7 from when he got hurt, had the surgery, December, and, as soon as the bowl game's all over, you get 2 or 3 weeks off. That guy doing his rehab every day, working. He is a relentless worker. Just his ability to bring guys with him from the way he works, just his attitude, and just, he gives you everything he's got. Every guy I see on the field is pretty accurate, right? He wears his emotions on his sleeves, which sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and we're getting better at it, right? But this couple weeks has really, really matured. We know he's going to be a fiery player. Every time he gets on the field, just like all these kids. Our guys are hungry to win. They nothing, and we're working every day to be winners. And matter of fact, to be champions. Goal is 2022 ACC champs. We're not running from that. We want people to know. We're hungry for it, and we're gonna work for that every day.
Look, Monty is one of the most genuinely nice people I've ever met. We sponsored him and Brock had a football camp a couple of weeks ago. Got to know him a little bit. I'd known him before. We had talked through social media, tried to get him on the show before, just we couldn't work out the schedule, and really got to know him a little bit then. And then fast forward to July 1st, and I don't mean to keep bringing this up, but this is a landmark in my life so far. Dad passed away July the 1st, and one of the first people that reached out to me was Monty. And he had told me he had been praying. Even when I would post updates about Dad's health, he would send me private, not publicly, but he sent me private messages telling me he was praying for my family. And that just meant a whole lot, because you're gonna have, there's a mixture of guys. There's the guys that are just there because they want to hurry up and get to the league. There's the ones that want the easy way out, and then there's the guys that work hard and love and care. And Monty's one of those guys. And that you're gonna have a winning attitude. You're gonna have a championship team when you have enough of those kind of guys around. And when they're being led by one of those guys as well, as with you, Coach, in the weight room, that's where we all know conditioning, weights, that's where it all gets started. Dalton, I'm going to go ahead and let you ask a couple questions because I've talked long enough, according to you.
Hey, Coach, how's it going? Oh, doing all right. Hey, obviously people know that you come from Georgia, just coming off of a national championship run. And I want to specifically talk about the defense because obviously I'm not that old, but in terms of the past, 20 years or so, you could probably put Georgia's defense up with a lot of defenses in the country. And I'm interested to kind of hear your side of things because you've seen some of these guys progress in the weight room. And one of the kind of staples, I feel like, of the Georgia defense is that they played fast, but they also hit really hard. They had a ton of size. You talk about Jordan Davis, the monster in the middle, Devontae Wyatt and Kobe Dean, the list goes on. Do you take anything away from how those guys kind of approach the weight room? Because it was obviously evident because, it seemed like those guys were professionals early on into their college career. What do you kind of take away from how they approach the weight room and try to, now apply it to some of the guys looking to then be in their shoes here in the next year or so?
Yeah, first off, you talk about being blessed around a lot of good talent. Year in, year out, seems like every kid you get's a five-star player, the state or at least player in their area, right? So have the opportunity to work with a lot of guys that are playing on Sundays right now. Just a lot of guys that are starting on Sundays and will start. But yeah, I take my experiences there and bring them here, and I think that's what great coaches do is they take all the good things that they know worked and bring them here to, to our players and educate guys that I've had the opportunity to work with when I was at University of Georgia and other places, some of our guys, and try to tell them, kind of speed them up to par because they don't know what they don't know. They think they're doing everything, they think they know, but do you know what the safety's doing? Do you know what about the DN? All the little details matter because winning's in the details. Thing with the offense. So I've tried to use all my experiences and been around that are really, really, really good that I consider the best far as players with some of the guys that are on our roster now. You guys give them the advice as opposed to, well, coach says this every day. He says it every day. Change the perspective and get somebody else kind of saying the same message, but in a different. So I think, like you said, being part of a national championship team or having the opportunity to play on Sundays definitely helps our guys and realize if that's what I aspire to do, I've got to be like them.
I got you. The next two are kind of more gearing toward the mental aspect of things. I had someone reach out, it was kind of a conversation after you got hired, and the question was basically, how big of a difference does this make, considering, you think of strength and conditioning, it's okay, how many different ways can you lift weights? And I'm like, well, that's kind of not, that's a little short-sighted, but, and I went on to say, basically, there's a lot more that goes into it. And I'm kind of curious because it seems like different strength and conditioning coaches, have like different mantras or have different, sayings that they use or different goals that they're trying to accomplish, with that like infectiousness and, the ability to create that contagious feel. Do you have like a certain like ideology or mantra that you kind of, or value that you kind of try to prioritize and instill in these guys in the weight room that it kind of helps translate not over into the field, but just them as people working toward their goals?
Yeah, I think number one that sticks out that we talk about all the time, being disciplined and being detailed. And that's not just football. That's in academics, personal life. That's in, your spiritual life. That's your relationship. It's the discipline. Can you do that every day? Right, standard, and repeat that over and over and over and over and over. Hit on ever since our staff, our strength staff has hit on ever since I've been here. You say, well, that's kind of cliche. Well, it may be, but going that they played from last year, before I got here, actually on campus, probably should have went our way, but there was always a little something, right? Discipline. Was someone being where they were supposed to be when they needed to be there? No. That could have made the play? No. Well, why was that? Well, he messed up. Well, there's a correlation, right? So discipline and detail matter. And once again, that's probably the biggest thing that I learned from Coach Smart. The time of my 5 years is like everything has got to be detailed and everything is and so, but other than that is being tough. I'll be the most mentally and physically tough team in the country. And if wins will show, right? The wins column will start adding up. But from a mental standpoint, being tough, you got to be tough because life is tough. Just like, Jeremy here, right? Lost his father. Got guys that have lost, their moms, their dads, their brothers, So if we don't instill that toughness, then we're doing disservice to this. So this all this is God's given me ability to have this platform to do with it. And I care about these men more than just football players. It's way more than that. It is personal investment every day we step in that weight room.
Mm-hmm. And the last one I have for you, kind of going along those lines, one of these storylines for this defense and really for the team in general is we have some key pieces coming back, but they're coming off of some pretty significant injuries. Monty hurt at the beginning of last season, out for the year. Cottrell had a serious injury, and moving on down the line. I wonder, in your shoes, and I understand that these injuries, however serious they may be, especially the ones that are long term, can sometimes be as much mental as it is physical. How do you, in your position, how do you kind of tackle that and try to navigate the mental aspect of things? And like I said, these guys, Monty is very infectious, works really hard. And I'm not saying these guys don't, but they're human beings as well. How do you try to try to handle the mental aspect of it while trying to build these guys up physically as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. And if you can ask Monty, there's several times over the course of the summer that I've texted him, hey, you hit this speed today. This has been the highest speed that you've since your injury, right? Then I pulled stuff from last year's stuff before he was 100th of a tenth off the fastest time that he hit. So going to what you said, it's building that confidence, right? Because a lot of them off an injury, they need more confidence than they do anything. And I think that's kind of our job too, is to build that confidence in our players, right? We're going to break them down, but I better be building them up too and making them confident so that when they get out, they know the product that they've been put in is going to work. So same thing with Clark. 2 or 3 weeks ago was one of our highest speed guys, fastest speed guys that the coming off ACL. Same thing. Braden Smith was up in the 21s. He's coming out. So I think with us having the ability, like you said, always evolving, right? There's so much sports science we have access to. So we use stuff along with our athletic training and merge the gap and say, hey, they track or they're not. But when they are, we let them know. And we got the, we got them. And I think it's alleviating that self-doubt. Well, maybe you're ready. You're ready. You got to trust it. And you got to go, you got to go all out here and you train and you run and you cut and you lift. All that said, Braden Smith, another guy coming off a significant injury, right? Dude just squatted more than he's ever squatted since he's been here. So, and he's coming off an injury. Knock on wood, a lot of guys that were kind of banged up as we kind of head into camp are really trending up, So they have bought into what we're doing. They're fully invested. They're starting to show.
All right, Coach. 2 things. First off, I just got another text that asked me, and I'm not sure I'm even gonna dignify this, but it's, do you have a favorite Edmonson County High School principal of all time?
I probably better not saying that, right?
Yeah. We won't. We don't ignore. Look, yeah, we're not going to talk about him. I said that earlier. And also, who's your favorite preacher at Steve Paula?
Oh, it's definitely Jerry Patton.
Good old Uncle Jerry. Thank you so much for coming on with us, Coach, tonight. I know you're busy, and we do appreciate you taking the time out to be with us tonight. Look, I gained about 73 pounds since Dad got sick about 9 months ago. I may need to hit you up for some tips and pointers because I'm ready to get this off.
Come on. Always welcome over to the facility. Come by anytime.
All right, Coach. I appreciate everybody. Coach Ben Sowders, thank you very much.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Good old brother Ben. I appreciate him. We lost Dalton. I'm not really sure what happened to Dalton. Hold on. I need to sorry, I have other things I did. Bring it home and get me a. Look, this is live TV power. Where did Dalton go? Hey,
Your guess is better than mine.
You need to get on that while I'm doing the show here. What a jam-packed show, man. I appreciate all of them for coming on tonight. We just, his presence alone is what we needed as a program. He is an amazing person, comes from an amazing family. And I know I joked with him a little bit there, but my uncle is the preacher there at Steve Paula. Great dude. My cousin's the principal at Edmonton County High down there, and I give him a lot of crap. Still love him, but just great people, great families, And just so glad that he joined us, that Sydney was able to join us, even though it was last minute. And Arnold, man, just a blast to have him on every time. Are you finding out where Dalton is, Higgy, like I asked you to?
I've messaged him and he's not responding back so far.
I think Dalton, I'm going to cut you probably. Not really. All right. Well, let's get into the rapid fire real quick, and we will end the show because it's Friday night. Y'all don't want to be listening to us all night. That's why we had to get the big guests to get y'all on here. In volleyball, Tori Dilfer. In track and field, Gabby Leon nominated by NCAA for Woman of the Year for leadership in their sport and community service. U of L, it was announced earlier in the week, U of L Health is now the official health care provider for U of L, which I thought they would have already been. It was announced in the last couple of weeks, women's basketball will take on Ohio State in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Again, senior Gabby Leon from track and field was named to the USA World Track and Field Team. Is that number right? 417 Cardinal athletes named to the ACC.
Yep.
All academic honor roll. That's crazy. Pierce Clarkson, DeAndre Moore, Ruben Owens, all named to the Polynesian All-Star Game. Damian Lee will be hosting a golf scramble benefiting the Leeway Foundation on August 8th at the Cardinal Club. And I just wanted to go over a couple of things that's happened since we were on the air last. We did that camp with Monty and Brock, and it was one of the most dope camps I've ever seen or been a part of. They both worked really hard to put that on, and it showed. Shout out to them and their people. We did take Sean out for his 40th birthday. He almost got a dance, but he ran away, but it was still an eventful night. And yesterday I had the pleasure of interviewing Bobby Lashley, WWE United States champion Bobby Lashley. You can look for that at Ringside Podcast. We put that out yesterday. Had an amazing time. As always, tune into Locked On Louisville with Dalton Pence, who has disappeared for some reason. Man, I'm really, Steve got me fired up and ready. Great show. Appreciate that. I want to hit somebody. Sounds like our guys will be in the best shape. Mike, I'm doing okay. Thankfully, you didn't tune in the beginning of the show where I did. I got upset and I got my feels for a second, but I'm good. Take your time. You've been missed. Well, I appreciate that, y'all. And again, we're going to take some time off. I'm either going to go out west or go down to Florida for a week or so and clear my mind and decompress. And that's something else I wasn't really able to do a lot because having to worry about both parents being sick. Now, my mom is sick, but she's in a lot better shape than Dad was. But, my brother is being gracious enough to stay home with her while we go on vacation. So I'm appreciative of that. And he's on vacation the next few weeks, so he'll be able to get some rest and heal. So, we're trying to do better. We're still affected every day by him not being here, but I would say, and I think my brother would agree, I'm handling it a little bit better than him. And it's not a competition with everything. 99% of the stuff it is, but I just now felt ready to come back on the air, and I appreciate y'all being here for me when I was ready. If you go out west, stop by. Absolutely, I need to make that a priority. Stop. Justin Perez is still expected to become a member of the basketball staff here soon. I think we're going to hear a lot of information over the next 3 weeks as far as personnel. Obviously, Fabio, Fandango, whatever his name is, Mike James, buddy, and we'll try to have a Fob on the show sometime after he commits. But I fully expect that to be announced. Don't know what's going. I mean, DJ's going to commit to a team in the next few weeks. We won't have. Maybe we'll pop in for an impromptu reaction show when that happens, or depending on how the fan base is active. But I have no plans to do another show until the end of August, when we will bring to you the second annual CSZ Kickoff Classic. It will be at Shack in the Back Barbecue on August the 27th, the Saturday before the football season starts. We're going to have a great time. We're going to do a live show there. We're going to eat. We're going to cut up. We're going to make fun of Higgy. We're going to, we're going to have a good time. Well-deserved time away needed to kick back. Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you all. I appreciate y'all's love. I appreciate everything. I enjoy doing this. And it's one thing my guy Lance, who is the U of L PA, I think his official title is PA announcer. Every time we talk on the phone, he tells me, like, man, I cannot believe how positive you are despite everything you're going through. And this is pre-dad passing, but like that's what I want to be positive. I want to inspire. I want to be your shot of good in a world full of, especially if you're on Twitter. That is the worst place to be. So I'm glad I could take some time. I thought I was ready to come back. I broke down a little bit at the beginning, but Bobby Lashley got me ready to go. After I interviewed him yesterday, I was ready to rip through a wall and tag up with him. He said I could be a member of his group if I ever joined the WWE. So that's a goal. When I'm done with this, I might do that. But no, he got me hyped up yesterday. So I was like, all right, show tomorrow. Let me see who I can get on the show. Oh, let me just call up Ben, Arnold, and Sydney. And we got it done. And I'm glad we were able to get it done for you all. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate you. We do have an important Wagner. Would he commit here without visiting? DJ has not visited. I don't know. Honestly, Higgy will be in. Higgy's going to be in town for that show. There's going to be food here. And what's up, Boo? I appreciate you tuning in here, man. I'm trying. Look, I have an issue, and we'll break it down here because we are getting to the last couple minutes of the show. I have an issue taking care of myself and taking time for me when there's so much to talk about with you all. And I know that sounds silly, but I feel like I'm letting y'all down when I don't get on here and talk with you all. And this is kind of therapy for me to get on here and just talk about everything. Obviously, it got the best of me earlier. Got a little emotional, but, I got through it. I'm going to have a great evening tonight, about to turn on SmackDown. And my wife and niece are on their way home, so we're going to figure out which direction we're going because I really want to go out west, but with my mom not feeling well, I feel like I need to stay closer. So I said, well, hey, look, I've got an alternative. Why don't we go down to Orlando, Gatlinburg and Orlando for a couple days each and have a good time? So I think that's going to be the move. Not sure yet, but yes, Higgy will be here for food. He's always here for food. But Andrew, to answer your question, I want to echo Steve's sentiments from earlier. It would be very odd for DJ to commit to that other school without visiting here. So I'm going to hold that with a grain of salt. Still, I have not heard anything. And again, you all know who I talk to. Not heard anything that leads me to believe that that's not still going to happen for us. But as you saw with G.G. Jackson, there were South Carolina people saying the same thing. And he committed, what are you rubbing? Oh, okay. I get what you're saying now. He committed to North Carolina, and now he's going to South Carolina. So I, never say never with that. I still have not been told otherwise. I'm trying to put myself first. I appreciate that. And Mike, you help you to be able to help out for sure. Intel from the message boards. Look, Tice, I love you, man. You're my little dude. You're my little bro from Twitter and everything. I do not give a solitary rat's rear end what the intel. And listen, I'm going to say this. It's going to sound cocky and like I want smoke, and that's fine. I'll breathe in all the smoke. My phone is a walking message board, and that sounds really cocky. And I don't always like flex or brag or anything, but anytime the difference is when some of the people that are going crazy on Twitter, when they want information, they've got to go to a message board to get that information. If I want that same information, look, I'm not going to flex. I was about to show the my address book on my phone. All I got to do is call them. Like I don't need a message board. My phone is my message board, and I've built so many great relationships with all the former Louisville back. I mean, you saw people on the show tonight listen everywhere. Everybody from Jason Osborne to Brian Johnson. I mean, my guy Brian was just, he he was really good here, but then he went to Mississippi State and balled out too. Like, these people know me. I'm not one of. I don't know why people try to test me, as far as that's concerned. But look, you got me. You got me going, Tice. I appreciate you doing that. But look, the message boards could be correct. I'm not. Look, Ty's a good dude. What's the other dude's name? And he's gonna kill me because he's one of my dudes, and I can't. Who's the dude that works with Ty on his site?
Travis, Chris.
Travis. So, and Travis, I'm sorry, I probably owe you some money for forgetting your name. Those dudes are good dudes. But the thing is that, and I don't know where they get their information from. A lot of the time, our information lines up. So if I were to trust people, it would be those two people. But make no mistake about it, I don't know if either one of matter of fact, I had one person who runs a site here in town tell me on February the 2nd, after I had tweeted out, KP's in town for his interview, hit me up and say, oh, no, look, I respect you. That's why I'm getting with you. There's no way he's coming to Louisville. But I was talking to, anyway. All right. Yeah, graphs. So don't ever worry about doing too many shows. I love the shows. Hey, I appreciate that, Rick. I appreciate all of you all. I know I have rambled on for an extra 10 minutes than I wanted to. But, man, we had a great show, and I appreciate Higgy. I appreciate you being here, being on time. Dalton was here for a little bit and then just pieced out on us. I'm not really sure what he did. Sam tried to join at 7:30, but I was not going to let him in after being 30 minutes late. So, man, it really was, it really was a very, very, I feel like it was a good show. So I want to give a shout out again to all of our fine sponsors: Fitness Market, Shack in the Back Barbecue, Four Pegs, WC Lawn and Landscaping, All American Pool and Supply Company, and working on more. If you want to sponsor the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, get with us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any of them. Hit us up. We'll put together a package for you and get you going as a sponsor of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. Shout out to Shack in the Back for hosting our live show. They have agreed to re-up for the next season. It'll be season 3 or season 4. Look, we've been here doing it so long. Season 4. Thank you, Higgy. So sign on for season 4 with them. Sign on for season 4 with Four Pegs. Let's keep this going. I appreciate all y'all support. You can find the podcast. Our social medias are right here. No, sorry. That's our, if you want to support the show, hit us up at any of those locations. But if you want to, there you go. If you want to follow the podcast on all the social media outlets, there's all of the ways you can do it. We are also on Twitch at Cardinal Sports Zone as well. If you haven't listened to all the podcasts, the episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, go back, check them out, click the drop-down menu. The menu is podcast and CSZ Podcast. You'll find it there. You can also find us on all your podcast avenues: Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, iHeart. Hit subscribe, follow, or like now. Check out our exclusives on CardinalSportsZone.com, the place it all began. Shout out to everybody out there that's sharing the podcast. We really do appreciate you all. If y'all have any ideas or suggestions for guests, shoot me a DM at Jeremy_CSZ. Shout out to our guy Kevin at L1C4 The Arts. He's the official merchandiser, the official summer merchandiser for Cardinal Sports Zone. Shout out to our guys Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage. Appreciate you guys and your support as always. Our guy Trevor Edwards working the social media for us now at CSZ. I can't believe I'm throwing this to you, Higgy, but do you have any last words? And then we'll get to the chat. I know the chat's been going off the hook. I'm going to ask you for your last words. I'm going to give mine, then we're going to go to the chat.
I was just going to say, everybody have a good night and stay safe.
That's how you sounded to me just then. What'd you say? Everybody have a good night and stay safe? Is that what it was supposed to be translated to? Yeah. Okay. For me, my last words again, this is the last show for a few weeks as we get ready for something special, football season. We will kick off the 2022 football seasons at Shack in the Back on Saturday, August 27th for the second annual CSZ Kickoff Classic. I'm not really sure what's going to be classic. We're going to do a live show from there. Get some of y'all to come on and actually audition for Higgy's spot. It should be pretty fun. I'm just kidding, Higgy. Should be a blast, Higgy. I appreciate you joining me here tonight. Dalton, I appreciate you. Enjoy the show. Take your time. Amazing show. It's all good. Look forward to seeing you in August. I will look, guys. You're still going to be able to follow me on the social medias. I'm going to post stuff on Instagram. I'm at Jeremy_CSZ on Instagram. I won't be tweeting out a lot of stuff. Follow me on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram and you still want me to tweet out stuff, I guess I will. But I really just want to focus on putting that content out on Instagram because it is for my close friends, my family, and the followers of the show. So, again, I appreciate y'all. Until, there's the outro music here. That means it's almost time to be done. Thanks again for all the support. We love you guys. And until next time, this has been the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast. I didn't like the way that this has been the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast. I'm sorry. Higgy did it.
Pay attention.
I always do everything.